Oh shit, here we go again.
Car culture in Japan is nothing new, with my first exposure being Initial D. But when did Japan's car culture truly begin? To answer this question, we must go on a little history lesson. In the 1980s, four car enthusiasts Yoshida, Kato, and Yamada created the Midnight Club, with Yoshida becoming the chairman of the team. The Midnight Club operated via a strict honor code with no reckless driving and no endangerment of innocent bystanders. And to become a full-time member, you had to spend a full year as an apprentice, attend all meetings, and have proved your capability to maintain speeds of at least 260 kilometers per hour, all while still keeping immaculate driving standards. And on top of that, all racing was done at night, not in residential areas or heavy traffic. Like all good things in life, they must come to an end, as on a Friday night in 1999 at around 3 a.m., drunk Bozoku bikers, a subculture in Japan notorious for rebellious youth and biker gangs, caused chaos on the iconic wagon, with some members of the Midnight Club racing nearby. And due to the bikers' actions, these members had to steer into high traffic areas, which resulted in a collision which killed 2 Bozoku bikers and injured 6 innocent bystanders. The club's strict honor code stated that if any harm come from their actions, the Midnight Club must disband. Even though it wasn't their fault, they still took moral action and responsibility, leading to the end of the Midnight Club. Now, for a game I wanted to cover for a while now, Midnight Racing Tokyo. A lot of the cars and even the areas that the Midnight Club raced and drove in were emulated pretty well into the game. The in-depth tuning, bodywork, and paint jobs feel like a modern-day revival of the club that has been disbanded for over 20 years. To honor this club, I decided to recreate Yoshida's iconic Porsche and test it out with the help of one of my friends, who also introduced me to the game. For this race, I thought I was genuinely cooked because, my friend, he's absolutely cracked at the game. But what I didn't realize was the fact that we were going to be running stock cars, since my car was obviously stock since I had just bought it. So he decided, all right, I'm going to take a car that I already have, but then I'm just going to downgrade it on turbo and all that and just keep the brakes at level 3.
Kill that boy! Kill that boy! Kill that boy! Kill that boy!
And we get off, we start, and his car on stock has like 90 less horsepower than mine does. So genuinely on that first start, I was genuinely gone. And I never looked back, not once. I gapped him and I kept the gap consistently good. And that's one of the main strengths I found of this car, was the fact that its top speed is absolutely amazing for the Pacific map that we were in. I don't know about other tracks, other maps outside of that, but I think for that Shinto Express, and what I found as well is that its handling is also really good. As long as you are able to sort of understand how the car moves, its handling is absolutely superior for the map. Again, for the map. I don't know about in general, but for the map specifically, it does really well. Now, its only weakness, I would say, is that at high speeds, it's really unstable. As I'm driving, as long as I tap it to a little bit to the left, to the right, it gets very unstable. The car slides a lot. So I really need to tweak that into when I'm tuning. So hopefully I can do that.
Yeah, one of the guys who does the tuning, he only does mouse steer.
Oh.
He got sub 5 on the AE86 on the
What?
the map we always run.
Oh, Goliath.
Sub 5 on the AE86.
What, stock?
No, not stop.
Oh.
On
That is
mouse
it.
control.
Alright, jumping into the tune now. Very excited. This is my first real big tune that I've done, so hopefully I can get this recreation just right. And yeah, let's hope it doesn't go bad.
Look, here's
We're
the
gonna
thing.
be fine. Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
So the first thing I decided to work on was the gearing, as in my driving I felt the gearing was could be a little better in terms of optimization. So I sat down and I was like, okay, what can I do? So I decided to sit down and was like, okay, let me just test this out, let me try it out to see. And these were the gearings that I found to be most precise on this map. These can be tuned pretty well down, so gear 1 is 3, gear 2 is 2, and then gear 3 is 1.45, gear 4 is 1.12, and then gear 5 is 1.9. So yeah, and the final drive is 3.25. And this car roughly produces at its peak is around 538 torque, with at its peak being around 590 horsepower, which is really good, absolutely impressive. But at its peak with torque, it produces even higher than what I said, with it being around 552. No, yeah, 552. I'm reading that right. And with the front, so a lot of the ride height, again, the ride height was more like building it based off the car, so I went with a little smaller on ride height, so I went with a little lower to the ground, but not all the way, so it's not like the tires are clipping the actual chassis itself. And then with camber, I kind of went with a little more of a slight camber, but not a drastic camber, so that you could tell. Just a little more slight, just like the car itself. With the exhaust, I kind of just went with everything stage 3, you know, just maximum exhaust, maximum intake, you know, kind of just that race profile. With the horizontal offset and the rear offset, again, just making sure that the car's like actual width of the tires don't go past the chassis, they just perfectly match it. So I thought 0.5 was pretty good for them both, as they both pretty much match the chassis. Turbo, again, I just went with stage 3 on turbo, pretty simple. You know, I felt as if, you know, because the car itself is turbo, runs on turbo, so I was like, why not just use turbo instead, you know? So I was like, okay. I was like, just max it out. That was pretty simplistic from there. Brakes, stage 3, and I obviously put ABS on it. And my brake bias, I felt, should be around 45-ish. Maybe I'll adjust to 50 if I'm feeling it. Actually, you know, let's just adjust right now to 47 on brake bias. I think that would be better. And then when it comes to tires, I put semi-slick on, obviously, for maximum grip. And now with the internals look really well done. I think I just went with everything stage 3, of course, for that. For steering aggressiveness, I went with 215 on that. Might bump it up just a little bit to 220. Might just bump it up to 220. Yeah, just 220-ish. I might just bump it up there. Finally, with dampening, I went with a more, not bouncier feel, but a more absorption feel with the car. So I went with 415 on the front, and then 435 on the rear. And then with stiffness, I went with 800 and 600 and 950 for the rear, and 8,000 for the front. So pretty good. And I think this car will perform really well, so I'm about to jump into customization next. Now for customization, the biggest point is kind of just buying the actual parts first and then building the car based off of those parts. So I'm just about to jump in and just build and buy the parts and then just build the car.
52 bomber clap, pussy wagon, chicken nugget. Two bomber clap, pussy wagon, chicken nugget.
Alright, so jumping into the garage now. Now it's just time to customize really with all the parts we bought. So first part that we got is the skirts. Now these skirts indeed look pretty much like the original. Pretty smooth, pretty nice. And yeah, I think I did pretty well on those. When it came to finding decals, that was like the tough bit, because of course Midnight Racing, like their whole decals don't really exist in the game, so I tried to find similar ones that look relatively to it. So I got presser banner, the presser banner and the presser decal, side decals. So obviously they kind of match, and they go for that vibe, indeed, which is pretty good. And then I went for the rear bumper, very good. I think like that was like spot on, like it's perfect. It's practically just nailed down, which makes it look like a pretty good tune. And then for the front bumper, again, they also got that nailed down perfectly, of course. And then, yeah, of course, the skirts as well, I got that. I feel like I'm missing something, hold on. No, that's it. Pretty much everything else was kind of just stock the way it was. I kind of liked it that way too. Like a lot of the tires, for instance, was stock, so that was pretty good. That would made it easier for me instead of having to look through their like massive catalog just to find like one tire or something like that. So pretty good. So I'm about to jump into just painting the car itself. So yeah, let's go. Alright, so first things first, when it came to the color of the car, it was pretty nice. I liked it. It wasn't that bad to find a good color that kind of matched the car at the end of the day. Like, it was tough, of course, because you have to, it was that color between like pink and red, so you kind of just have to very fine tweak it almost. It wasn't the most difficult thing in the world to do, but it was definitely tedious. And this car definitely was a pretty fun car to build and recreate. I mean, you could tell that like the work that was put into this car genuinely made it a beast out on the racetrack. Not even the racetrack, out on any sort of highway. And you can definitely tell that Porsche and Yoshida put a lot of work into making it. He regularly took it to checkups to make sure it actually ran well. And you can see that because genuinely look at this thing. This thing is an absolute beast of a car. Yo, the power on this thing, I mean, it's absolutely tremendous. Wow. I'm gonna brake a little earlier just to make the corner. Maybe even a little too much. But Jesus Christ, this thing has got way more power. I am definitely taking my time with this car. This thing is insane, genuinely. Very, very comfortable once again. Definitely my tuning did like an awesome, I did like an actual good job of tuning. For my first time doing it, it's actually impressive. Ooh. Had a big slide there. A little bit of a moment. Not the worst thing in the world. Yo, this thing is absolutely cooking. Like, this thing is absolutely cooking. I love it. Oh, no grip. Come on, power out. Nice. Oh my god, dude. Wow. What a beast. 10? I would argue not even 10 seconds, at least. Yeah, more than 10 seconds faster. Like, absolute beast. And I'm not even, like, going full throttle at times. Like, I'm getting a little antsy. I'm braking earlier than expected. Like, I could do better, but already that alone is genuinely impressive. And yeah, I definitely like this one. And, you know, let me know if you want to see more content like this one.